Hello guys. Okay, this is gonna be a little story time. Grab your cup of wine, grab your spliff, grab whatever you need to grab to sit through this story. But as you see by the title, this is a story time on my awakenings, my spiritual awakenings. So if you're not into that shit, just get gone. If you are, subscribe and join, because I will be being more open with these things. I've just been very closed off like my whole life with these things, but it's like finally, there's less judgment going on, so it's kind of like we can be open, and yeah, I also have been gone because TikTok is more my thing. Like TikTok, they accept me over there. Y'all just like, y'all want to see fights, y'all want to hear mix up, those are the ones that get the views. But I'm sorry, that ain't me no more. But yeah, okay guys, so I'm gonna break this down into like multiple videos just because we do have a lot of spiritual awakenings and it's not spoken about. So I'm basically gonna go through different ones that I've gone through at different ages or whatever. And yeah, so let's get into it. I have always been spiritual, and I don't even really like to use that word, I guess, because it's more so like a gift thing. But I've always been, like, in a sense, spiritual my whole life. My family, like, I've always gone to church and things, but it wasn't even with my own parents. It was with my grandparents and everything. In my home, we were very open to every religion, every belief. Like, we will get into that later and the beliefs in my actual household. But yeah, definitely have always been open. That's what I'll say. But for my, I'd say, official first spiritual awakening that I can actually put my hand down on and say this was a spiritual awakening. Do not mind my cat if you hear her, because she's a crackhead. I honestly don't understand. Cheers, by the way. But yeah, basically I was, how old was I? I was just turned 17, actually, just turned 17, okay? And I previously met this girl who, okay, so actually it wasn't just 17. I'd say definitely 16 to 17, but 17 was when, that was when shit started hitting. But yeah, so at 16, I started to definitely be around a lot of different kind of people. We will get into that in the future. But I started to notice, I started to lose a lot of friends. A lot of people were doing me dirty in a sense. So in spiritual awakenings, what we like, also this happens to mainly empaths, different kind of empaths. There are many different empaths, but this happens to a lot of us. We kind of try to create peace between people, and it backfires on us. So that happened a lot with me, and I was losing a lot of friends. And like, not only that, but people were being very fake, and like I was definitely acknowledging what was going on. And I was going through a lot of family, like a very big family dynamic change, and that also is definitely a big sign. So this is also to help people who are going through spiritual awakenings, especially young ones too. So definitely started to realize the fallout of a lot of friends, like complete fallouts. And you'll also notice you'll get blamed for a lot of things that you have nothing to fucking do with. So be prepared for that, or you are already experiencing it. Not only that, but in my home life, my parents just separated and shit was rocky over there. So it was mainly my home life that was really fucked up. Pardon my language. But basically that's what happens a lot when you it's like these things push a spiritual awakening. It's really weird. So in this whole time of all these dynamic changes happening, you know what I mean, I met this one girl and I hated her. We hated each other. But we hated each other for years and years and years because I knew of her all the way in middle school, you know? But we disliked each other for years. And finally, at this point in my life, when all of this is happening, we actually become cool because of a mutual friend. And when we became cool, she was super into tarot and all the witchy stuff. But like, she's the kind of witch I don't fuck with. I don't even really like to call her witch. I honestly don't know what she's doing nowadays. Maybe she has learned more and, you know. But throwback, she was the type to wanna grab the Ouija board and go sit at a railroad at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's the kind of girl she was. I'm not with that shit. But basically, I met her and I was like, damn, like, you know, I really want a deck. Because previously, when I was 12 specifically, I started getting really into learning myself, like learning things. So I was really into, you know, the ancient Egypt things, you know, Greek mythology. I was really into all those things. And I also really wanted to get, well, tapping into those things, it kind of steers you into other things. So I wanted to know about tarot, and I'd ask my sperm donor, I'm like, oh my God, like, what is tarot? Like, how, like, you know, how does it work? And no information given. So it was actually, like, I'm telling you, God literally puts people in your life. Look, how dewy can somebody be? Oh my gosh. But God will literally put people in your life for one reason. And if you don't take them out when they gotta go, you will face the fucking consequences. But she came into my life and I ended up getting a tarot deck or whatever. And the longer I kept her in my life, the more chaos and confusion she brought. And we're gonna leave it at that. Okay, so after she, you know, exited out my life, certain things started to, don't mind my bottoms, y'all. This is a comfy kind of story, girl talk, I guess you'd say. Not really, but just a comfy vibe. But yeah, basically what happened, I cut her out, and then I had my birthday when I turned 17. Also, a lot of things happened. Like, when I'm telling you, your spiritual awakening, like, will really jumpstart with traumatic things happening in your life. So, like, my parents split, started losing a lot of friends, ended up homeless at one point, lost more friends. Things were a fucking mess, yeah? Okay? But yeah, basically, and I'm finally open with sharing these things, like, growth has happened. But, basically, we ended up moving to Saga, and, I went through, like, it was like rock fucking bottom. There was no other way to say it but rock bottom. And literally right after my birthday, well, the night of my birthday, I basically, like, told my friend, I was like, I had, like, a little Getty, and I told him, I was like, you know, like, I'm really feeling like I'm gonna off myself. Like, that is what we're at. And he was, like, a real mental case. That's what I'm gonna say. Because he was always cutting himself from we were younger. Like, he was always doing those things. Like, and the reason I'm saying that is because, like, I'm calling him a mental case because man still hasn't changed. Like, y'all, I'll do a whole story time on that friendship. But basically, he was always going through stuff, and I was always there for him. I'd let him know, like, dude, you could talk to me, like, da-da-da. And it was one birthday that he had that he literally just sat there crying in his room while we, like, all of his friends, like, all of us are, like, chilling there with him. And so, like, I let him know specifically, like, if you are ever feeling down, like, if we are ever feeling down, we need to speak to each other, because we can never let it get to a point where we are offing ourselves. And that is literally, like, he had a friend recently that offed herself, so we really need, like, to make sure, like, that is not what we're doing. So basically that night I told him, I was like, dude, I really, like, I just want to go. I ain't trying to be here no more. And he literally the next day left and never fucking checked on me again. Did not check on me again until a year later came back with a fucking apology. But anyways, so I ended up going to the hospital because a bitch tried to. And basically, after that, it was like, that was when I had like a super fucking awakening, okay? Like, I'm telling you, I got out the hospital, and that's why they say solitude is important. Like, you really find yourself in solitude. Being around so many people and so many of the wrong people really mess with who you truly are, your inner self, you know? So basically after that, what happened? Yeah, I came out and I did this one tarot reading on myself, and it was the most powerful fucking reading I ever did on myself. I was so like, I was like, okay, like this is right. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, I gotta, you know? And so that's when I started to like tap more into things and learn more things, you know? But yeah, this is going to be just a one awakening, because I have gone through many. I am now 20. Excuse me. But I am now 20. So I have had multiple awakenings. And what I will say is, when you have you know, the wrong people around you, or, you know, you're kind of overdoing substances, like, all those things play such a big part. Specifically, the people you have around you plays a big part in if you are going to go full fledged with your spiritual awakening, or if you're gonna have to you know, go through a couple more. And I have like this one right here is my last one. Ain't no fucking way, ain't no way I'm going through another one. But even with this last one, there's so much more learning to do, you know what I mean? But yes, what I was saying again is having the wrong people around, doing the wrong things. All these things play a very big factor in actually staying true to yourself and actually tapping into your gifts. Because oh my god, I missed a whole part. Am I Pip? Y'all, the story is not done, okay? With this awakening, this is also like the reason I did the tarot and it was so powerful is because of what happened in the fucking hospital, okay? So what happened in the hospital was, specifically one night, I had a girl who I was sharing a room with, and I like could not sleep that night. I was having such a hard time sleeping, and I literally like sit up and I look over at the girl's bed, okay, and I see this like figure standing over her bed, and all I keep hearing in my head is like, grandpa, grandpa, grandpa. I ain't no fucking grandpa. That ain't my grandpa. My grandpa is not here, okay? And so basically literally, as I kept hearing grandpa, and I'm sitting here like, I'm telling you guys, at that moment I was trying to fight what was going on and like ignore what the fuck I was seeing, but it was like, there, you cannot ignore it at this point. And literally it was like spirit wanted me to say something, because as I'm sitting there, the girl sits up, okay? She was sleeping and she just sits up and she looks at me. She's like, are you okay? And I'm like, do you have a grandpa that passed? And she's like, she starts getting emotional right away. I was like, oh no, I'm really bad with emotions too. I was like, oh no. And she's like, yeah, he actually passed in this hospital. And I was like, ooh, because also at the time I was not comfortable with spirits. And my previous story time, you heard a bitch was running from that shit. So nah, that nigga was bad. But you know, I was not good with any kind of spirit at all. I was not here for it. But yeah, I basically tell her, I'm like, you know, your grandpa's here, give her the message and everything. And she's like, thank you so much. Also, like, hey girl, if it ever comes past your, you know, shit you see it on YouTube, leave a comment, say that was you. Because definitely years ago, so who knows if she even remembered. I don't think you forget something like that. But yeah, that was what really, I was like, okay, like this is crazy. And then I got out, did the reading, and it was like, the reading was literally like, your gifts are gonna keep coming in. Like literally, it was just so crazy. And after that, I had a stunt. There was another stunt with getting around the wrong people and hanging around the same wrong people again. And that will block your gifts. That will block whatever physical gifts as well you have in this realm. Like, it will block things. Hanging around the wrong people blocks everything. But yeah, if I can give you a tip, don't hang around the crowd you know you're not supposed to hang around, or that is not helping you, serving you at all, not good for you, period. Do not become, you know, obsessed with substances. I guess you could say addicted. But yeah, so do fucking not. Understand that, like, and there can be an addiction with different things. Not only, it's just having addictions in general. Drugs, food, people, anything, okay? Things you watch. You can be addicted to the porn. These are bad things to be addicted to. And those stunt your growth heavily. It stunts your gifts in all forms. So yeah, again, if I can help, stay away from those. On top of that, just truly be you, okay? Take these signs, again, when the friends start to drop, when you see all these things, take the signs and acknowledge that you are going through a different level in life now, and you need to act accordingly. Because, you know, when you step back into that energy of hanging out with these people and doing these things, it messes with you. What I was gonna say is also be yourself, because my biggest issue was never being myself. For the young ones, truly be yourself, because, you know, it blocks so many things, not only physical and spiritual gifts, but it blocks happiness. You know, me personally, I was always trying to fit in a sense, so I always knew that there's, like, you know, I was different. I've always been different. In every group I have hung out with, I've never completely fit in that group, and it's like, that's 100% okay, but never try to turn yourself into that group or those friends that you're hanging out with, that friend that you're hanging out with, because you are not being true to you, and it's going to stunt your growth and bring you back to where you were. So yeah, y'all, you know, get used to the new stuff you're gonna be getting. This is what you're gonna be getting, and I'm gonna make a series on spiritual awakenings and tips and tricks and just, you know, all the witchy shit, everything, y'all. We are being ourselves now. We're not here to please you bitches. Pardon my language. Because yeah, YouTube is hella extra. I'm trying to get monetized, but yes. Have a good day, loves.